by alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon by taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Friend from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the biggest, baddest, bitchinest podcast about Minneapolis City Soccer Club. As per usual, I am Nate, joined by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, to my hacksaw Jim Duggan, John Bisworm, Minneapolis City Sporting Director. John, 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks to go, I should say, and they're the most important 2 weeks, the most important two games of the season. It's almost like we planned it that way, huh?
Well, first off, let me tell you a little something about hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. So when I say we, my shitbag high school friends and I were pretty decent into wrestling in like the late 90s.
Oh, yeah?
So they came to the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, and the WWF at that point did. And we ponied up, we got some good seats, and we were sitting down like on one of the walkways to go in and out, where like they had the walkouts for the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And it was the last year that Hacksaw toured with the WWF. It was like before he retired. Mm-hmm. And I was a huge Hacksaw fan. And we're standing there, on the fence waiting for him to walk out. And he comes out, strutting with his 2x4, and he like turns to do his ho, where he puts the 2x4 up, and he's a little too close to the edge. And there was like a kid in a wheelchair.
No.
Who was like tall enough of a wheelchair to be like right by the edge of the fence, and he lifts up the 2x4 and just catches this poor kid under the chin.
Oh no.
I know, and we're all like, oh shit. And like to the kid's credit, he shook it off and was like, yeah.
Hey, I got smoked by Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
But Hacksaw thought he had hit like the fence railing, like the underside of the fence, but no, he smoked his chin. Yeah. So that's my Hacksaw Jim Duggan story. Anyways, yes, Nate, it is almost like we planned this soccer journey, and I'm A-okay with it, to be honest. I mean, we're in their driver's seat, and we have nobody but ourselves to blame if we don't either win the league or make the playoffs. So ideally, we didn't drop that loss at home to Duluth, and then we did Med City maybe not being gifted that penalty kick versus us, and things would be a tad different right now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, think of this, Nate. If we weren't one penalty kick call in 20 minutes of being locked in of a soccer game away from what could have been a 10-0 record going into the last two games of the season.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I still honestly don't think we've played our best soccer yet.
We better not have. We got two big games ahead of us, and that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. We'll recap this weekend's action against Sioux Falls Thunder. It's going to be kind of a quick show because we don't have a whole ton to talk about besides that. We're going to do a little NPSL North runaround and give you guys the state of the table, and of course we'll preview the July 7th, the Sunday game against Duluth. Post 4th of July holiday, round out your 4th of July weekend with a victory, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
So let's not waste any time getting to the good stuff here. It was a hot one. Rob Thomas, Santana featuring Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. It was a hot one in South Dakota. There was no real opportunity for the team to take it easy. We had to go to Sioux Falls and take 3 points from the Thunder. City needed those 3 points to stay on top, and we brought a mix of wily vets and some young talent and a new face to the murder.
Yes, and so basically, we only traveled with 14 players, so it was a little bit. I don't know if you'd say a little disappointing because we talked about bringing all of our resources for these last couple games.
Yeah.
And then it just happened to fall where like 5 guys were at various weddings. Some people had to work.
It's wedding season.
Yeah, it is wedding season. And that we've talked about before, Nate, where those are the problems we have being all local. Like these guys are not here just to play soccer, where you can say you have to travel. You can't go do that other thing. So it's part of our selling point, right? That we're flexible. Mm-hmm. It just sucks when we're flexible and everybody can't make it. So a lean crew, but like you said, like an interesting mix of people, but a crew that was totally locked in, and we'll get through that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So the starting lineup was making his Minneapolis City debut in goal, Jeremy Clark. And our back line was AO and Miles Norville coming back in, getting a full start. Jonah Garcia, the ever-present center back that we've talked about before, and Zuhir rounded out the back 4. And then your midfield was Hoof, Stigwart, and then at the number 10 was Eli Goldman getting his first start. And then up top you had your two of your familiar 3 with Will Kidd and Whitney Brown, and then Kevin Andrews getting his first NPSL start. And then with only having 14 players, our bench was lean and mean. We had basically 3 Swiss Army knives. We had Charlie Adams, Noah Sen, and Matt Murakami.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, this is like a FIFA official match from FIFA official rules. We would have only been able to bring on 3 guys anyways.
Right.
So what better guys than these 3?
So this trip, you mentioned it, featured the debut of Jeremy Clark in net. I want to talk about him really quickly because he hasn't really popped his head up yet, but he is a great veteran presence that has been, especially up to now, on the training field. He joined the team this year kind of just on a lark, but turns out we need him.
Right, exactly. So Jeremy is the most veteran player that we have on our roster, as you noted. So he's been around the block. He currently is the head goalkeeper coach for Minnesota United's Development Academy. And I found out this weekend, he played his last competitive match in 2015 when he featured for Detroit City in his home state of Michigan.
Wow.
So he hasn't really faced a lot of game-like situations. He did get a second half against Harpo's and gave up a goal that no one was really going to stop. But since then, you haven't really heard much from him, but he's been in training, and we haven't really had a need to dip in our toe into that kind of third goalkeeper world until this week. So perfect week for him to pop in. But in his playing days, like I said, he played for Detroit City, but he featured as a 4-year starter for Michigan State University, where he was an All-American. And then he was actually the first ever signing by Detroit City FC. Oh, so a little trivia note there. So when he joined up with us, it was not, it was kind of on a lark. So U23 coach Jeremy Handler knows him from obviously working together in the development academy at Minnesota United, mm-hmm. but he was just looking for something more organized than men's league, which is pretty much what a lot of guys at, with that experience level look for. So they tend to gravitate towards us. But yeah, he came in, he joined us up, not just to practice. He wants to be on the field, but he also provides our younger goalkeepers with that additional kind of coaching touch that he can give them, and including guys like Matt Elder as well. So they can kind of learn from him. He also helps our goalkeeper coach, Derek Johnson, kind of supplement what he's doing with a unique POV from his experience. So fantastic guy to have around, all around good guy. And we wish we had, more of him, but being the head goalkeeper coach of the DA, your commitment level is pretty strong for your day job. So yeah, that kept him away from us from playing matches until now the DA is over. So he's able to hop in. So we can use him.
That's awesome. So John, it was super hot from what I heard. So hot that it looked like the stream died in about the 25th minute or something. But luckily you were there.
I was.
So you had eyes on the ground. City jumped out to an early lead thanks to Will Kidd. Talk about that goal. 4 minutes, just 4 minutes into the match, and Will Kidd strikes.
So before I dive into that, talk about how the stream died. So they're playing like the pregame mix, the pregame warm-up mix.
Yeah.
And yours is better. I'll give you that, Nate.
Thanks.
credit where credit's due. But you know how like when the computer, like the alert message sound on a computer, it's like bling.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the IM sound. It was like clearly like the something's going wrong sound. And it just kept popping up. And I was standing by Max. I was warming up Jeremy, and he's like, sweet playlist. It was like just like the notification sound just kept going off. Anyways, one of those had to be theirs, but I thought it was pretty damn funny. So screw all of you. So anyways, to get to your question. So 4 minutes in, yes. So the Thunder, Nate, came out in an extremely low pressure system. And when I say extremely, they did not pressure us at all.
I was going to say, for a second, that's an excellent Weather Channel analogy, but we got,
yeah,
we're talking about soccer.
We're talking about soccer. So they basically parked 2 buses essentially and dared us to break them down. So the first 2 minutes of the game, it was clear to the City players that they were going to have a ton of the ball on the day. And the movement of the ball, the sharpness of the passing, and then the calculated movement off the ball was going to be key. So that's exactly what City did. The sequence on Will's goal, I think, was set up by around 20 consecutive passes that City had uncontested. So the ball was like 1-2 touch, just pinging around the park. And it found Eli, who made a really great positive first touch to beat his defender and turned on him. And then Will, making his patented kind of diagonal run in, just laid it through the pocket to Will, who hit a one-time shot and tucked it home. And it was at that point where within 4 minutes of the game, the collective wind came out of the sails of Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to be disrespectful at all. They did put up a fight, but tactically they had a plan to sit back and to do some level of man marking around the spine of our team. And it just didn't work. And us scoring that goal not only gave our 14 guys that were like, okay, it's going to be a hot one, and a lot of guys are going to have to play 90. Like, oh my God, if it's going to be like this, we can just keep the ball all day and then score the occasional goal and lock this up and get back to the hotel.
Yeah. And Will added to that total. He doubled the lead in the 20th minute, even further relieving the pressure on some of these guys. I'm sure it was excellent news when Will scored for the rest of the guys on the field.
It 100%. When the second one went in, it actually could have been his third goal if not for just an unlucky defender getting a toe on a ball that was a pass that he would have clearly been in on goal. So this could have actually been his hat trick inside 20 minutes. So it was, again, another double figure passing sequence that really put Sioux Falls to sleep. And it saw us switching the ball back and forth across the field. And then it came back through in from Zuhair to Miles Norville, who just picked his head up and found a line clearing pass of about 18 yards, 20 yards on the ground to Stigward all alone. And then that caused the defense to step up and the wingers to try to tuck in. To basically 4 guys were like, oh shit. And then they all went towards the ball. And then AO saw about 20 to 25 yards of just green space because Kevin Andrews had checked in to get the ball. And then the defender and the winger that was closest to him, they both went to Kevin. So what we were talking about in previous shows is that like dynamic second and third run.
Yeah.
It happened, Nate. So the first run was Whitney Brown going into a pocket of space. Didn't get that successfully, obviously, because the ball didn't go to him. Kevin Andrews, the second run checking 2, drew 2 defenders out, and AO's overlapping third run was just a killer. He actually had enough time around the 18-yard box on the wing to be able to collect the ball and take 3 touches with his head up to find Will streaking in. So it was baffling there was that much time, but it just showed that the movement off the ball, when done in bunches in different directions, just opens something up that wide. And he played it into Will, and he buried a one-time volley in, and he was uncontested. So even the weak side guy wasn't paying attention. It was just it wasn't a calamity of errors for Sioux Falls. It was just City playing really good off the ball soccer. And one of my buddies who lives up in Sioux Falls came to the game, and he and I were watching it together on the sideline because I didn't sit on the bench. And he was like, damn, dude. He's like, that was like professional soccer right there. And I was like, yeah, we've been talking about it for weeks. And that was the first sequence we did it. And you could just see the guys thinking like, man, that's what they were talking about. And that's how good it feels, and at that point it was the hydration break came and it was donezo.
Yeah. It seems like we knew we needed to come out early and really take the wind out of this game before the heat did the job for us. Cause like you said, only 3 guys traveling. If you get, 50, 60, 70 minutes into this game and you're at a tie or nobody's really scored, the chances of that breakthrough goal are dropping considerably as the minutes tick on and as the heat persists. But coming out and scoring 2 within the first 20 minutes really takes the pressure off the rest of the team.
Yeah, and people say 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in soccer. Okay. And whoever said that was full of total shit because
some British guy.
Yeah, it's totally true because the other team gets that one goal and momentum totally shifts. But when the team that's up 2-0 is in total control and outside of maybe one shot on target that made Jeremy actually have to make a save, and then maybe one late dangerous just kind of throw everybody in the box and crowd it up and lump it in kind of sequence that could have maybe seen them get a goal, but if it wasn't pushed wide, I mean, it was all City. So it was interesting, Nate, because I thought Sioux Falls was going to bring it to us, seeing that we only had 14 players. We're on the road. It's hot as hell. But they did the exact opposite. And what we have seen with the City team is that, they're very patient. And we see that against teams that are pressing us. But we've also seen it against teams that are trying to sit back on us. And I know a lot of work and training has gone into trying to break teams down that are sitting because we thought we'd see more of it this year than we did. So we've been working on it for quite some time. So when you give these guys have been working on it that time and lots of the ball, it's only a matter of time until the soccer brain then just takes over and the off the ball runs we talked about start to happen. And they did. And one of the keys to the game from Coach Van Benschoten beforehand in the locker room was be fearless, but be calculated. And that was basically because we have to win this game, but we only have 14 guys. So don't be fucking stupid and start just don't, Zuhir and Ao, don't just be making bombing overlapping runs. Let's not lump the ball into Whitney and have him chase all game. Let's not try to tire our wingers out. Let's not make dumb passes in the middle of the field that are stretching our midfielders out. Let's try to keep them more connected. So when he was saying that, it's exactly what they did. And, they could have tried to press when we got the ball, we could have tried to press more to get more goals.
Yeah.
But it would have been essentially just running into walls.
Yeah. And why do that? When you can pretty much sit back and have your way with the field when you do have possession.
Right. And they just played consistent 1-2 touch soccer, swinging the points of attack and until it was finally time to turn it up a notch and be ruthless and hit the space that was given to them. It was just really great to see. To be honest, and too bad the stream totally sucked, but there was a point in time where you could even hear the coach from Sioux Falls on the other end of the field on the fan side yelling at his number 10 to Mark Hoof. He's like, you're supposed to man mark their number 6. and everyone was on our side was like, that's interesting because that means they're just taking another guy out of the play to match up against a guy who's just basically standing there because he doesn't need to do any off the ball movement.
Exactly.
So it was just, I think it was just a bad day for Sioux Falls, to be honest with you. I think I'll get into it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, probably because of that heat and maybe because of this talent level. You did talk about this because of Sioux Falls tactics. City did hold a ton of the possession. And I think, you even joked about it, that you and Jeremy were joking about it, that he had nothing to do except count how many passes our team was making consecutively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said that, and this may be been some of the after hours activities kicking in, but he said that it was he counted around 1,000 passes between he and the defense, not just him directly, but including him into the back four and Hoof.
Dude,
that's a lot of passes, but.
Yeah.
Even when they tried to put a little pressure on us, Nate, it was done so, like I said, without organization. So simple 5 and 10 yard balls on the ground really destroyed a low line of pressure and broke one or two lines of that defense with ease. And it was a bit interesting to see how much that Sioux Falls was really allowing us to have the ball, because they've shown, in the past, and I mean, even at bright spots for them in the game, that when they get it, they know what to do with it. So why not try to create turnover instead of sitting back? But after halftime, it was clear that City was going to be able to ride things out in second gear, and that was absolutely perfect given the circumstances. But I will give the Thunder some credit. They promoted quite a few younger players that we hadn't seen before that are of high school age, and gave them the chance to play. And those guys, you could tell, they're short in the tooth when it comes to men's soccer, from an amateur soccer perspective, but they were bright spots. And there was something in there that you could see those players. And my buddy was telling me about some of the kids because they're local. And I think the promotion of young talent, as you know, we do it. It's something that teams don't have a lot of, large local player bases of quality. It's crucial to the longevity, and it helps with the future of quality of your squad to promote those younger kids. And, their season's lost, right? So all they have is to just show up for pride, and seeing them insert that younger group, I would say, hats off to them. I think that was awesome to see. And we'll for sure see some of those guys again, if not next year, but the following years for sure, if they stick around the area, because they are the future of that team, and they were bright. So I pat them on the back for that.
That's great. John, you said last week you said your keys to victory. Let's analyze those. Your keys to victory. First, play as a unit.
Yes. So this was present. I mentioned before, there were some sequences throughout the game in both halves, Nate, where everyone on the field, all 11 City players, successfully made a pass in order. Not necessarily like you're saying it went from left back to center back to right back. It was just the ball was moving in and out of spaces and pockets with just 1-2 touches. So, and if it wasn't really for the wrong side of the post on that sequence, we would have 11 consecutive passes that led to a Whitney Brown goal, but he hit the post. So they were patient. They played good team defense. And when we had the ball, we never really wasted long passes, which is how you kind of beat the heat, really. And when a bus is parked in front of you, you just keep the ball, and it's going to come, because someone eventually falls asleep on defense. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Secondly, you said get 3 points.
Plain and simple. We needed it. We got it.
Did it. And third, stay healthy.
Mission accomplished again on that one. Not one guy on the training table. I actually popped into training tonight to drop the jerseys off, since I won't be in Duluth this weekend. And check that off the list.
That's
no one
awesome.
was injured. Everyone was up and buzzing around the field, and it was good to see.
That's cool as hell. John, player of the game for you on this one?
So on a day where we didn't have to do too much, and like I said, it was hot as hell, and we actually got to drink a couple beers with Nigel's mom after the game, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And she's a really good sport about everything, so that's pretty cool. Will Kidd did exactly what you need. He finished his only 2 shots of the game, which we talked about the offense getting going last game, and it really didn't happen. But this game, we didn't really need the offense to get going. Will was the offense that executed flawlessly. So you'd have to, throw him into the conversation. But what I'm going to say is it's going to be more men of the match, Nate. Things happen like they do in most seasons, where people have to work, or where there's weddings, or guys are injured, or what have you. There's always that one game where we're a little short, and this was it. And it came at a crucial time in the end of the season. But this group of 14 that went on our longest road trip of the season and faced real adversity, I would say, they came out on top in this must-win match. And not one player beforehand was bitching about how there were only 14 guys. Not one player was complaining about the heat, other than it's like, man, it is fucking hot out here. But they weren't saying they were just saying it like it is, right? But they weren't complaining. And they were just like, you know what? It's time to roll, boys. Let's go out there and get the win. And so because of that, I'm going to give them all the men of the match.
That's nice. I mean, I kind of been thinking the same thing. Great performance from the full 14 guys under really tough circumstances. So each of these guys who made the trip deserves some level of accolades. Very, very nice. Very, very great team effort.
But if you give it to an individual, it's
got to be Will.
Yeah.
So we're down to the wire here, John. 2 weeks left, and still only 2 points separating the top 3 teams. We sit in first place with 25 points. Med City is in second with 24 points after beating Dakota Fusion 5-0.
5 second-half goals.
Yeah. And Dakota was down to 10 men
in
the second half, too. Duluth is in third with 23 points after beating Eris 3-0. So it really has come true. Dakota is the worst team in the league.
Yes. And I thought Eris was going to be able to put up a little bit better of a fight, but a 3-0 scoreline likely was something similar to our 2-0 scoreline where they didn't have to do a ton, but they didn't hang 5 on them or 6 on them, or 8 or 9 or whatever. So, Lacrosse gave up a fight. They play them again in 2 weeks, so maybe they learned something, and they didn't give us a little help.
Hopefully. I mean, it's worth noting currently each top team has a goal differential of 18. So
yeah, I noticed that.
On the nuts. So here we sit with 2 games to go, each of those games against one of the other teams hoping to take our top spot. Both teams are going to be hyper motivated going into these last 2 weeks. All 3 of our seasons will come down to Minneapolis City's last 2 games. Coming up for Med City before they visit us on July 12th is a visit from the Twin Stars. And we noted last week that Duluth will finish out their season with a game against Eris. So truthfully, the game that we play against Duluth on the 7th and then the following week when Med City visits us are the most important 2 games of the season for all 3 teams. Who would have thunk it? Right.
And you know what? I've said it before. Obviously, I mentioned it, for 2 quick circumstances, the 20 minutes against Duluth at home, and then that penalty kick that we got drawn against us against Med City. Even though we scored the late equalizer, you'd have to think that maybe we still could have done that if they didn't get the penalty call.
Yeah.
Without that, we're still sitting. We're undefeated at 10-0, and we're probably locking up the playoffs after the Sioux Falls, or at least a playoff bid after the Sioux Falls win.
Mm-hmm.
If things shook out the way they did with the other 2 teams that are kind of chasing us. But I have to say though that I'd rather have it this way than us really being 10-0. I would like obviously to win the league, but to have it mean something at the end of the year and have it be this close with the true kind of top 3 in the division. It's a no doubter that it's a 3-horse race, but it's more exciting. It's better for the fans. It's better for the players. Guys are
the league.
Better for the league. Yeah. Everything. And I think that people just don't really, they look at geographically the teams that sit in the North Conference, Minneapolis being the biggest market, but they look at Lacrosse, they look at North and South Dakota, they look at Duluth. They look down on our conference, but our conference is actually a tough conference to win. And especially when you have 3 teams that on any given day can be the best in the league.
Yeah.
A lot of other conferences don't have that. They have a clear runaway winner. And then they have maybe 2 other teams that are close, but not close enough.
Yeah. They're scrapping for second place.
Right. Or the whole division sucks and everyone's got like 4 losses, and it's just really who's going to beat the last guy at the end of the year to basically stay above 500 kind of thing.
Yikes.
So I'd rather have it this way, to be honest with you. So as you mentioned, we played Duluth. So obviously we have to have a preview of the match. So
first, we need to, like you said, in order to really guarantee that we're going to come away with a top spot in this league is to win.
Right. Exactly. Just win soccer games.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how that works, right? So first order of business this Wednesday night on the road to the
Sunday, actually.
Sorry, Sunday. First order of business this Sunday night on the road, Sunday afternoon, to the first step to clinching a title will be a victory against Duluth, in Duluth, a place where we've never won a match there. So talk about adversity last week, adversity this week. There is a first time for everything, though, Nate. And I know the guys remember the World Cup championship celebration that Duluth had on our home field when they beat us 2-1, because they mentioned it this weekend. So the guys are thinking about that, and it's being brought up in training. So there's that.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not going to be easy. Like, Duluth, their backs are up against it, man. A loss, and they are most likely going to be out of the playoff picture. barring some help from the Twin Stars maybe against Med City. And we saw what happened when Med City was in third place a couple weeks ago, right? They went up against Duluth, and they performed when they had to. And you have to think that Duluth is capable of also bearing down and giving it their all in that kind of a situation. Their back is up against the wall, and they need to win in order to give themselves a better shot at the playoffs.
Right. And as we know, Duluth beat us at home on June 1st, thanks to a late goal from Lucas Jacobs. And I believe he assisted on the equalizer before that. So to avoid another late disappointment, I think we have learned what we need to do when in a positive situation to get results, and it's in our sights. We went from really not being able to do it to kind of being able to do it to being able to completely close out. So I think we've progressed in that point. So it has to be on the mind of all the players and the staffs. But in order for us to get there, we have to play a good soccer game before we can get to that tipping point. So Duluth has shown us that they can beat teams by playing good soccer, as well as getting the patented Duluth stroke of own goal luck that they've had for 3 years. So, I mean, hey, we joke about it, but I would take it if we were getting own goal luck like that. But we're not getting it, so we have to joke about it. So I thought, out of all the MPSL games that I've watched this summer, which includes scouting other teams on video and obviously calling our games, that June 1st game was the best soccer of two teams that I've seen. And I'm comfortable saying it out loud, even though we lost to Duluth. It really was the best game of the year that I watched. So wow. Duluth they have really good players that can do really good things. We know Alberto Diaz is maybe one of the best central players in the conference, if not the best. So we'll need to account for him whenever he gets the ball, like we did last time. But we'll also need to do a better job of wearing him out and of having to track runners, which is, I think, something you saw us do in the last match, but not until the second half, where I thought he was less effective when he was having to play actual defense instead of being able to just kind of sit in a pocket and get the ball. So they also have Brazilian Carlisle Jr., who's been scoring lots of goals of late. Even though they've come against some of the not-so-great teams in the league, he's still scoring in volume, so you have to account for that. But I will say, though, Nate, I have noticed that there have not been some familiar names on the roster sheet that we would expect over the last few matches. And I don't think it's a case of them saving players to play versus us, because those players didn't feature against Med City either.
Right.
So to me, that says like either they left the team or injuries have happened. Injuries happen to all of us, but if you don't have the depth to cover the training table bug, you end up burning your players out, because in some cases, teams not us are training 4 times a week, 3, 4 or 5 maybe times a week.
Yeah.
And that rotation ability is much thinner. So as a result, I felt that the team we saw on June 1st has not really been back on the field since then. Then you see them go up against Med City, and they looked very tired. And it was it looked kind of like out of ideas when they got the ball, and when the chips were really against them, they were making kind of tired mistakes. It's like mental errors that they were punished for to the tune of 3 goals. And considering they'd only given up 4 the whole season up into that match, and then they dropped 3 in one match, it just wasn't their day. But as always, everyone tends to turn it up for us. So I don't feel they're going to be like dragging ass on Sunday.
Right.
They'll be ready.
And they're at home.
Right. So to get revenge, I think City needs to focus truly just on the task at hand. They sit on the top of the division. They control their own destiny. So if we can take and melt together the possession-based soccer, the 1-2 touch movement, the in and out style, the switching of points of attack that we saw in South Dakota on last Saturday, when another team is applying more pressure, that'll be a great start. But the main thing that killed City last match against them was basically beating themselves. And what I mean by that is the untimely giveaways, the bad short passing, it's all got to be in order for this one to go our way. And if the simple things are not executed flawlessly, they may have some work to do, some serious work to do. So basically, we have to just play our game and make them beat us by forcing them to play the perfect match to get those points. And also, we need to score more goals, plain and simple. So they've got 3 or 4 dangerous weapons on the squad. You know, the question really will be, Nate, can we get a lead, keep it, and close out the game, and at least get that 1 point on the road to keep us relevant?
Yeah, this is going to be, I think you'll probably repeat yourself, but let's get to the keys of the game because I think 2 or 3 of these are going to be the same that they always are.
Right, yeah. So number 1, just play good soccer. Last match against them, we played good soccer and we lost. Don't get in your own way, basically.
Right.
So playing good soccer again, and if, as I noted before, the simple execution is flawless or close to flawless, the chances will come and we can start to assert some dominance. If not, we all know what happens. So we have to play that complete game. And if you put a string of good soccer games together, you don't lose those games. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you may lose one, and we saw that we can lose one when we're playing not so flawless. But when we're playing flawlessly with the simple things, we are very, very hard to beat, even on the road.
Yeah.
Number 2, celebrate America with 3 points.
Whoop, whoop.
So holiday weekend, 4th of July, we win the game. We take the pressure off. And basically, if you were correct last week, Nate, 3 points this week basically assures us a playoff spot, correct?
If we beat Duluth this week, we win the league. Or we win. No, we are more than likely going to win the division or win the conference, but we guaranteed a playoff spot.
Right. So there's that.
Yep.
So
if we beat Duluth this week, and all we have to do to stay at the top is draw Med City.
Well, if Med City loses, and we beat Duluth, then we do win the league, correct?
Correct. So many permutations.
Right. So basically what I'm asking you is, if we get 3 points and for some reason Med City loses, can Duluth still win the league?
No.
Okay, well, there we go. So
no, they're 2 points back from us. If we win, we'll be at 28 points and they'll be at 23. Their max is 26.
How about a nice hat trick from a Darbaki and
yeah, Kareem,
and we get some points and we call it a season. Celebrate America. Rely on the Moroccan to celebrate America with 3 points. Number 3, stay healthy. We talked about it. We got to be healthy for that Med City match.
Yeah.
We may have a situation where we're playing for all the marbles in a week. So we have to keep everyone healthy and be ready to go if that's the case.
Yeah. Duluth, and they're going to bring it. They're a physical team, especially at home. Their crowd gets them riled up. Duluth for sure is going to have that stream up and running too.
Yeah, they do a good job.
So keep your eyes on the city Twitter feed for that link, or just download that MyCuju app, I guess, and you can set your notifications up, and they'll let you know when the game's starting and where to click. But kickoff is going to be Sunday, July 7th at 3 p.m. at Duluth East High School. Squeaky bum time indeed, John.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I said, I'd rather have it this way than turn up every year and win 13 games.
That's all for tonight. Thanks, as always, to our sponsor, Summit Brewing. It is summertime. Beat the heat with a delicious summer ale from Summit. Perfect for slamming after mowing that lawn on a hot-ass afternoon. Get to your local watering hole and get some on tap today, or mosey down to your local liquor store. Pick up a 12er. You're a better person if you do it. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, maybe it is time to give the club that gives back. Minneapolis City is a 501c3 that provides a safe, reliable, and fun environment for young people to play the beautiful game. Look for us this summer playing with kids in parks and community centers all around the city, and consider that tax-deductible donation to a true city-focused organization. City games are super fun. It's obvious. If you've been going to all these city games and you like what you see and you're not a member, what is going on with you? There's still plenty of time to support the squad that you have come to love. Memberships have been discounted, so do it now. For $40, you would support the club for the rest of the year and into next year. And you get some cool stuff in return. You get a season pass to every city home game. You get an exclusive membership scarf, 2 flex tickets to share your love of Minneapolis City, to bring your friends, and a membership card that'll get you 10% off at the club shop, and it's going to get you deals on Summit at our official game day bar, which is, of course, Palmer's. Plus, you're going to get that vote on important club matters that we take care of in the off season, like choosing maybe a new scarf, new kit design. All that stuff is coming around the bend. visit mplscitysc.com and make it happen. Stands are packed, and you know it. So come out, make some new friends, and support this club that you've grown to love. Send us mail. It is easy. Hit us up on Twitter at The People's Pitch, or you can email us at mcscpodcast@gmail.com. Anything that you want to talk about is welcome. Tell me about your day. I don't care. Finally, as always, you can hit the club up at MPLS City SC. And that is all for this week. I am Nate. That was John. Celebrate America and hopefully 3 points in Duluth with us.
And you got us.
Poster burning maple weeds, cradle major keys. Thinking back, I've been major since the minor league. So supreme, too much sauce off my olive NMDs. I could staple steez, bend the goat so I get the cheese, never fall. Rake them leaves and make sure every moment gets seized. And everything I see is.
Then we drank a beer with Nigel's mom.
I saw that. That's really cool.
It was because Jocelyn was there, and she's like, "Holy shit! Hey, Nigel's mom!" And she like waved at us because we were eating.
Holy shit!
They got us some pizzas, and we were drinking some beers by the van with the guys and the fans. And then she's like, "Hey guys!" And she came over. We're like, "You want a beer?" She's like, "Yeah." And then we're just hanging out with her, and then you could tell the beer kind of went straight to her. Like. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, to moms.
Yeah, to moms. And she goes, she's like, "All right, well, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to come party with you guys soon." We're like,
"Oh, you will?"
We're like, "Okay. We'll see you there, I guess."
Yeah, mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel's mom.
Well, I didn't know that he played at Luther with Miles Norville. And
he did?
He was a senior with Miles when Aiden O'Driscoll was a freshman. So, he played with both those guys.
Well, that's pretty cool.